All right, so let us say hello to Bellator lightweight MMA coach, trainer, and now the subject of a new movie that drops Friday, August 6th on demand. It's also going to hit the shelves in stores via DVD on August 17th. The film is called Notorious Nick, and it tells the story of inspiration and making dreams a reality of becoming a professional fighter. Happy to be joined by my fellow New Englander, Nick Newell. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's good to see you, sir.
New England is number one.
That's right. This is big time stuff right here. The film is just hours away from being released. Is it surreal to think about this? Like your story being portrayed in a movie? Like, is this weird for you?
Yeah, I guess, right? It'd be as weird as it would be for anyone. It's been a long process. It's been like 7 years. So that kind of made it gave me a little more time to digest. I've seen some crazy things and had a life. So nothing really takes me too much by surprise, but I'm very grateful that people found my life interesting enough to make a movie, and I'm even happier that it came out so well.
Yeah, because what's interesting about all this is, I mean, you've always been a guy that's been happy to share his story and talk about it and inspire others. But at the same time, like you've never been that guy to make a big deal about being the one-armed fighter or just a guy with one arm. Like you didn't want to be singled out necessarily for who you are and the things that you've worked through. But here you are getting ready to see your story released for so many people to see. Is that sort of surreal to think about? Because, you know, you're not a big spotlight guy, but here you are, and we have a movie about you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a complicated subject to talk about, right? Because I've never looked at myself as the one-handed fighter. I'm just a legitimate fighter that happens to only have one hand, if anyone can see. I've also come to terms with the fact that this is the way I am. And it might draw more eyeballs to me and make my story kind of more interesting to people. And I've accepted that. And I'm also trying to make a living doing this. So if it helps with my popularity, I will take that as well, to just be honest. You know, the more popular you are, the more money you make, the more your family benefits and the you set up your future. So for me, it's like it's all about balance, and I think it's about being honest with yourself and staying grounded. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to my story. I don't think I don't look at myself as I went through this. Like you people don't understand. Like I realize that everyone faces obstacles, and people can kind of see that I'm facing obstacles and can relate to me on personal level based on whatever obstacles they could be facing, whether it's missing a hand or a leg or even like, I don't know, learning disability or like things that happen in their family life and things that were stopping them or self-doubt, things like that. So it's pretty cool to have so many people reach out to me and share their stories with me over the adversity that they've been facing over the years. And when I can, reach back and kind of support and show my support and give them a little encouragement.
So as you said, this has taken several years to come to fruition. 7 years, I believe you just said. When this was first brought to your attention, how did you react to it?
I was like, what? I was like, huh? And my manager called me up and he was like, yeah, they want to do it. And he's like, I looked these guys up and they're legit. They're like a really, really good at what they do. And they're accomplished, successful people. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we kind of came up with a deal that we thought was fair and good and kind of ran from there.
So the role of you is being played by Cody Christian. And for people who maybe the name doesn't ring right off the bat. If the show Teen Wolf, he was the star of that. Kevin Pollak, who's been in a million movies, he's part of the movie. Elizabeth Rahm, she's been in a lot of different things. Barry Livingston's been in a lot of different things. How do you feel like these actors sort of portrayed these roles? Like, was it interesting to see it all on screen, seeing a different character play you and, the other people in your life, like that made such an impact on your life?
Yeah, I felt like they all did a good job. They're all very good actors, or actresses, and really did a great job to make an entertaining movie. Obviously there's things about characters. I'm a lot more goofy than maybe Cody Christian was in the movie, but he did like such a good job acting and encapsulating emotion in the movie that it's cool to watch.
So when you saw it for the first time, you felt like that it lived up to the expectations. It did the story justice. It portrayed, maybe not to the goofiness that you like to show off from time to time. I know you and I have conversed, and I wouldn't say you're goofy, but you get a little bit of that side to you. So
I like that. I joke around a lot. So
you do. So you felt like this thing was great, did it justice. This is exactly what you had hoped for when you finished the first screening of it.
Of course. Yeah. I'm like, obviously like any Hollywood movie, it takes a little liberty. There's some characters they added in to tell the story better, but it took these things that happened in my life and my story and kind of molded a great movie based on these instances that happened in my life.
What would you say? And I know your story is told in the film as well, and we don't have to give away like complete specifics, but what would you say is like the biggest turning point, not just in your career, your life, but as shown in the film? Like what's sort of the big part in it where like everything just clicks and everything just turns around and we really get to dive deep into your story and where you are today?
I mean, with fighting and stuff like that, it has, if I lose, I come back, I win some fights and I get a little montage in there, which is what I wanted when I said, don't make me a movie if you're not going to make a montage. There's no sport movie without a montage. So I got a little montage. And then obviously in real life, my friend Abby Mestre passed away. And I had gone to a tryout for the XFC, which was like an opportunity at the time, was a big deal. To fight on Access TV was huge. So for me, I went to this tryout and I actually didn't win the tryout. I ended up fighting one of my buddies, Hitalo Machado, in the finals, and we banged it out. It was like good competitive fight, and they didn't pick either one of us because it was a really good fight. And they ended up picking Abby because he just destroyed the guy he went against. It wasn't even close. And he won the XFC contract. And then shortly after, he passed away in a motorcycle accident. So they called me up and they did a show called Tribute. And I ended up, going from there and winning the title after that. So it was pretty surreal how things worked out. It would have been better, obviously, if we could have done it together. I knew I would have made my way over there somehow and won it in some way, shape, or form. But the world's a crazy place sometimes, and not good things happen.
Of course, right now there's a couple of little notorii running around the Newell house. And, I know they're really young and they may not completely understand what is happening right now. The youngest of the two for sure. But one day there's going to be a family movie night in the house and you all sit down and you'll watch this together and they can experience the full story for themselves. And, you guys can sort of experience it and understand it all together. Like, are you excited for that day more than maybe any to sit down, pop some popcorn and watch your story with them?
Yeah, when that day comes. I mean, I got a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old right now. So, we've been watching a lot of, Coco Melon and Peppa Pig. And once Peppa Pig doesn't become cool, then we can switch over to Notorious Nick. But for real, like, this is a good movie. Like, you know, you have like a 5-year-old and up, probably. You can sit down with your whole family and watch it. It's a really fun movie.
Yeah, Peppa Pig. I went through that stage, and then they go through them quickly. I have an 8-year-old, and it'll be the next thing, then the next thing, then the next thing, and yeah, it's a never-ending cycle, Nick.
Yeah, my wife makes fun of me because she thinks I'm Daddy Pig. She thinks we're like the same person. So
that's hilarious. What do you hope will be the biggest takeaway from the fans, the viewers, those who are fans of MMA, and even those who aren't fans of MMA? They just see this movie on demand. They click on it. They're like, oh, what's this all about? What's your hope in terms of how this movie is viewed, and I guess the lessons that could be taken from it?
Well, although I never like looked at myself as being like an inspirational person or anything like that, I'm just a normal person living my life. It's that to take your circumstances and that life gives you and make the most of them instead of letting them make the most of you. And people that look like me or have faced adversity can look at something that I've done and draw inspiration from it themselves and go out and be even more successful than I am or was, and do something great in the world and not let any self-doubt stop them.
In terms of your mixed martial arts career, we saw you compete a little less than 2 months ago at Bellator 260. I was there. You had a pretty grueling fight with Bobby King, and you unfortunately were on the wrong side of a split decision. Now that, you know, several weeks have passed, what did you sort of take away from that fight and the performance overall?
Well, obviously, always you can do more, right? That's the main lesson. It's do more and be better. I honestly, like, these split decisions that I lose, like, I don't see it. I rewatch the fights and I know that I won these fights, and I take it as a lesson to myself to be better and to do more and be more decisive in my victories. And even 11 years into my pro career, 12 years, I'm still learning and I'm still growing. So I appreciate that I have the opportunity to go out there and put myself in front of the world and compete.
And just be able to walk out, and I mean, they were there for you. The fans were in the building for you. The place was electric when you walked out there, something that you've experienced before, but it had been so long, not just for you, but for anybody to hear the roar of the crowd and inside Mohegan Sun with these Bellator events. Like, what was that like for you? Just after all that time, being able to walk out on that stage, hear your name from Michael C. Williams, and just sort of feel all that appreciation and support from your local fans?
It feels great. It's always weird, like, looking across the cage and you're out there and you feel the canvas and you feel the energy of the crowd, and you're looking over and you're like, man, I'm gonna have to beat this man up, you know. And it was a good fight. It was a fun fight, and it was my night, and I won't let anyone tell me any different.
Yeah, the scores were all over the place, man.
Yeah,
that's Mohegan, though, right?
Yeah, I guess so, man. They gotta step it up.
I mean, even so, like, you had been out for a while. The pandemic was going on. It still is. It looks to be sort of ramping back up again. And you also have a lot of guys who are training and getting ready for fights in their own right. And your plate is pretty full with or without your own fights to think about. This movie's about to come out, so much going on. Are you even thinking about when you want to get back in there and fight again inside the Bellator cage? Is that even on your mind right now?
I mean, martial arts is a lifelong journey. So once you start, there's no stopping, in my opinion. I'm on a lifelong mission to get better and better. And obviously I'm going to get older and I won't be able to do the things that I used to do. But, you know, you can still grow and still get better. So progress is always on my mind, and I will fight again, and I will make a statement definitely in my next fight.
Do you have a bunch of guys fighting this weekend?
I do. I have a guy, Eddie George, who's a professional. He fights for CES. He's fighting at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Mass, at the MGM, and he's got a bright future ahead of himself. Someone to definitely keep an eye out on. And then I have an amateur, Jake Russo, fighting in Ammo Fight League, making his debut.
Good. So I'm going to see you on Saturday then at the Big E.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I'll see you at the Big E.
Do you have any funny nicknames that you wanted me to shout out about your fighters? We got Will Smith and Sriracha out there. Is there anybody, any new nicknames you want me to throw out there for the Big E crowd?
You know what? I don't have a nickname. I don't have a nickname for Jake. Eddie, I've been calling him the Dirt Devil, but I don't think he likes it.
Sometimes it sticks though. Sriracha, like he didn't know we were calling him Sriracha until he was about to fight.
You know, my fighter Justin Sumter wants to be called the Fort Sumter, but I told him he should be the Dumpster. The Dumpster's a better nickname, you know. And
get a lot of attention.
Listen, everyone, you got to watch my movie.
I know. Listen,
that's what you got to do. You gotta go support the fights, and before you go to the fights, you got to watch my movie because it's a great movie. And a lot of people, it took a long time to make because they wanted to do it right, and they have a great crew, a great cast, and they really did their homework, and they really made sure that they had the best product they possibly could make.
Look at you, a professional.
Look at that.
Sitting there trying to.
I don't want to get sidetracked. Me and
full
you,
circle. I got you, man.
Me and you can BS for a couple of hours.
yeah. We'll do that on Saturday. But
I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna do a guest. I'll be the ring announcer for one fight.
Oh, dude, you're in.
Let me in.
Done and done. All right. So as Nick just said, August 6th on demand. We're recording this on Thursday, so it drops tomorrow. And then wait 11 days. Go to your local store, check out the DVDs. You'll see it August 17th. Check out Notorious Nick, the story of Nick Newell, an inspiring true story, a real underdog tale, as it were. And I'm looking forward to watching it myself, my man. Nick, I appreciate the time. Congratulations on this. It took a while to get here, but we're here and it was done right. And I'm glad to see you're happy with it. It's a super cool thing. And I'll see you at the Big E this weekend, my man, after I watch the film, of course.
Yeah. And the real fans buy 2 DVDs. Just buy one. You got to buy a backup in case when someone takes your first one.
Yeah, because they will. Absolutely. Yeah, buy one. Each family member should have their own copy.
Yes, exactly.
There you go. Nick, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Congratulations again. This is awesome.